Hey, welcome back guys to Rule of Two Review. Today I'm going to give my initial thoughts and impressions on everyone's favorite game, Metroid Prime Federation Force. This will probably be the last video that I get made before I do my Q&A in a couple of days, probably this weekend, maybe Friday or Saturday. We'll see, but I did get a bunch of great questions. Happy to finally deliver on the Q&A. One last reminder, if you want to have your question answered and a shout out on the video for yourself, leave a question for me in the comments below. Anything gaming related, Nintendo, NX, music, movies, Star Wars, whatever. You can ask me anything. But let's get beyond that. Let's talk about Metroid Prime Federation Force. You've heard me talk about it. You've seen what the internet has to say about this game. And no one's been happy with this game since it first showed up. My quick recap, which you've heard me probably say several times recently, is I initially was very upset about the game. I was a super huge diehard Metroid fan and Samus fan. And it didn't take long before I just kind of stopped caring about the fact that it wasn't what I wanted out of a Metroid game and just looked at it as a game that has Metroid in the title that started to look not so bad. Still never very excited about it, though. I picked it up, as you saw, and, I didn't really expect much out of it. I ended up saying, hey, I just want to have it for collector's sake. I want to give it a shot. I want to maybe be pleasantly surprised that the game might, somehow luckily turn out to be good. But more than anything, I just wanted to support the Metroid name and hope that Nintendo truly is working on their next console Metroid experience, which I still think that they are. I really hope that I'm right. So how is the game? Now that I've finally spent a good couple of days with it, you guys, it's pretty damn good. So first and foremost, remember, this isn't a review. I'm just giving my impressions. And it isn't the game that I want out of a Metroid game. Like, I kind of, in so many ways, wish that Metroid wasn't in the title or on the cover of the box. But if you just don't focus on that aspect and just look at it as a game that emulates the first-person Metroid Prime experience, not so much any of the other Metroid experiences that have existed, but obviously the Metroid Prime experience, and Metroid Prime is in the title, so it's obviously playing off of that series. It takes place after Corruption, and it's in first person. If you look at it just as that, I am shocked to tell you that it's actually really fun and surprisingly deep. I think that was my biggest concern. You heard me talk about it on my last video about when I picked the game up, is I was worried it was going to be very shallow, and it didn't seem like Nintendo spent much time talking about what the single-player campaign is going to be like and what the mission structure was like. It just seemed like Blast Ball was a huge focus on what they were doing. And as I discussed, I didn't think Blast Ball ever looked very cool. And then when I played the demo, I really didn't enjoy it either. So I was like, well, that's half of the game experience that I don't care about. So that right away made me very nervous. I was like, all I'm going to be trying to do is whatever this mission thing is going to be. And I'm going to tell you guys, I expected something incredibly shallow and not interesting and just a weird excuse to try to just get people to play co-op stuff that wasn't going to be fun. And boy, was I wrong. It is so surprising to me how deep this game really is. The single-player campaign and the way that they integrate both your ability to go through it solo and your ability to co-op with either random people online or people that you know is incredibly well executed. You guys, coming from someone who was not excited about this game and very nervous about how it was going to turn out, I am pleased to report, and I don't even think my Metroid fanship has much to do with it, a little bit that I'll touch on in a second, but when you just look at it as a game, this weird, quirky, experimental game that Nintendo made, almost pretend it's a new IP, even though it's truly not. They've created this really unique mission structure where you just pick missions, you go through. There is a story being told. It's not super engaging, but they give you context to every mission with the briefing before and after. And they tell you this is where you're going, this is what you got to do. You have to save this, you have to activate this, you have to retrieve this, you have to kill this, whatever. And you just pick your mission and you just go, and these missions are just so much deeper and way more varied than I expected. You guys, there are so many different environments. There's only 3 planets that all of the missions take place on, so initially you might think, only 3 planets, that doesn't sound like a lot to do, it's going to get really repetitive. Man, that is not true. Every mission even if you do 5 missions in a row on the same planet, every location and objective and all the enemies, well, maybe not the enemies, but the location and the objectives are extremely different, and the maps are different. Like, no one map is repeated from the 10 that I've played so far, 10 out of 22, and I am just so surprised. And the way you can link up with other players is so much fun. You get in a lobby, you wait for people to join, or you join their game based on what mission that they're selecting. You customize your loadouts, which is very, very well handled as far as all the different mods that you find. And then you go, and it sucks that there's no voice chat. That's a huge problem because this game demands it. The co-op is so integrated into the experience when you have more than one person, which is what makes it very fun. But you're limited to the preset, kind of discussions you can have. There's a larger variety of preset discussions than I expected to, so that's nice. But it doesn't quite get the job done. I will say it's neat because you kind of create this faux bond with the people that you're playing with because you are so limited on what you can say. It's very reminiscent of Destiny. I'm a huge Destiny fan, and I love that Destiny, you can just use these preset sort of like what are they called? Emotes, right? Where you do different dances and pointing and things. And that does a really good job of communicating with people in a way that is almost more organic than being able to just straight up talk to someone. So it's really neat, and I appreciate that this game has a Destiny vibe to it, the way you pick and mix and match missions you've already been to find new things or to help someone else who needs help with that mission. Very, very cool stuff. Now, when it comes to the actual missions themselves, how this game actually feels like a Metroid game is just, it's the atmosphere, you guys. Like, it's there. The atmosphere and the tone and the soundscape of a Metroid Prime experience is absolutely present. It's stupid that you're not Samus, and it's stupid that there isn't actual puzzle solving in the game, and that there's more co-op than there is single-player stuff. I wish that that wasn't the case for a game that labels itself as a Metroid game. But I'm telling you guys, aside from the lack of those things, looked at on its own merits, it's incredibly well handled. This game, you want the headphones on and you want the 3D up. The sound is probably the best part of this game. The sound effects, the way the bass kicks in when your headphones are on, the music is extraordinary. This game looks and feels, I said this on Twitter, it looks and feels very specifically like Metroid Prime 3. It has a corruption vibe oozing out of it, and it is so very neat. When you end up engaging in Space Pirates, you can hear like a new remix version of the old Space Pirates music from the first 3 Prime games. Or actually, mostly Primes 1 and 2. I don't think 3 actually had that music, but it's present in this game, and that's a lot of fun. And the environments they feel like a Metroid Prime game, and the game sets you in, and it's very quiet and desolate if you're by yourself. And there's reasons to explore. I mean, some people, I also said this on Twitter, some reviews or some people who are trying to poo-poo the game might tell you, oh, there's no exploration, it's not like a Metroid game, there's none of that stuff, it's just A to B. And like, that's not really true. I wouldn't listen to those people because I don't think they're being truthful to you. There is some level of exploration. It's not super deep, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to lie to you in that respect and tell you that there's so many things, secrets to uncover by exploring, but the maps have enough things. It encourages you to find mods, and it's the mods that you just build more and more up as you go. Your inventory of mods increases, and you'll use some and lose some and break them, and then you got to find more. If you find mods, everyone can have access to them when the mission's over. And you want to find these secret locations where mods are hidden, and that feels Metroid when I'm doing it. It's not complicated exploration, and again, there are no true puzzles, and that is unfortunate, but it's nice to have a reason to look around and explore the very pretty environments. Also, the graphics are pretty damned great. The textures are low, it's true, and like some of the enemies, when you see them up close, they're not extremely detailed, but when you're running this game on a 3DS in your hand and you have the 3D turned up, it looks fantastic, you guys. Rock solid frame rate. And I don't know, I mean, at this point I could just go on and on. The complexity of the single player campaign, whether you're playing by yourself or whether you're finding other people to play online, and if you mix and match those and find ways to customize yourself for every mission that you're attacking, really interesting. There's 3 medals to earn at every single turn or at every single mission. And you can go back and replay them, and there's different objectives that give you more points to earn more medals. So it has that typical kind of mission or level structure that Nintendo has been using for a lot of their best games, like Donkey Kong Country, like this new Super Mario Brothers games, like Yoshi's Woolly World, even Star Fox Zero. It has this awesome replayability mission structure, and because there's so much replayability, and even your initial run-through of all these missions has so much to do, it's just a very deep, thorough, very well-crafted experience. I mean, a lot of love and care went into this experience, you guys. I'm not going to lie. Blast Ball, I don't have anything to say on Blast Ball. It's exactly what it looks like. Shoot a ball into a goal. If that's interesting to you, then great, because I think some people very much love it, and that's fine. It's a nice little aside, I guess. I wish that there was another mode that wasn't Blast Ball or the single-player campaign that did something really unique and neat. Even just like a straight up deathmatch would have been very cool to me, but it doesn't have that. That's okay. At this point, if Blast Ball wasn't even in this package, just based on this 22 mission structure and how difficult it actually gets very early on, by missions 4 or 5, it started to get very hard. I actually couldn't even do some missions by myself. It's worth the $40. I mean, it's worth a full-priced game because they put so much time into it. The controls are out of this world excellent, no matter which control scheme you go with. The visuals are great, the environments are great, the missions are awesome, the co-op's great, the solo is great, the customizability to your mech is great. There's no Samus, there's no story, there's no exploration, and it's not a big open world like a Metroid Prime game like we'd want it to be. Those are the big negatives, and they are true-to-life negatives. If you will only enjoy a game if it's got Samus and exploration and puzzle solving in it, you're not going to like this game. If you like any sort of variety of multiplayer game and you want a deep campaign with many missions, a lot of replayability, and excellent controls, visuals, and sound, then Federation Force is a good game. Don't even call it Metroid Prime if that's going to just hurt your feelings. Call it Federation Force and just look at it as its own thing. I shared this opinion on the podcast earlier this week. I have a theory with Federation Force that part of the reason it became a Metroid game within its development, and maybe at some point they'll confirm it was always intended to be a Metroid game, and if that's true, then my theory is bust. But until then, I'm going to stick by my theory, which was this game, they might have intended it to be just a brand new IP. Hey, let's create this cool online multiplayer co-op first-person sort of game where you have to work with other players and achieve all these objectives, and it'll be really fun. And then my theory is because Codename Steam, their most recent brand new IP, specifically for the 3DS, apparently is a pretty good game. I sadly have not played it. Apparently a pretty good game, didn't do very well. Reviewed okay, sold not good at all. I think Nintendo might have been nervous to take a new gameplay concept and make it a brand new IP at the same time. Maybe because of Codename Steam, a 3DS game. So my theory is that at some point during the development, they said, hey, what can we do to make this idea more successful? I know, let's brand it with one of our IPs. What does this game look and feel like? Metroid, Samus, Metroid Prime, it's first person, it looks like an arm cannon, it looks like a visor. Let's make this a Metroid game, let's just call it Metroid, set it in the Metroid universe, create some story bits, we'll throw a little picture of Samus and reference her in between some of the missions, and then we'll just call it good. And I think that that's what happened. Ultimately, I think that that was a mistake for the game because it made people more angry it wasn't a true Metroid game. But at the same time, it might have like a roundabout positive effect because people are at least paying attention to it. Even if they're angry about it or not willing to play it, people have been talking about it, people have been looking at it. And I think that the game is going to do okay. I still don't think it's going to be a breakout hit. It's too alienating to real Metroid fans, and it's lucky that I'm such a Metroid fan. I wanted to just collect this game that I gave it a shot and picked it up, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm so very much enjoying it. But I just feel like that's what happened. That's just my weird personal theories. So those are my thoughts and impressions on Metroid Prime Federation Force, guys. I know that everyone wanted me to talk about it. You guys know I'm a Metroid super fan. When you saw that I picked it up, everyone said, well, a couple of people were like, hey, like, you should talk about it. I want to hear your thoughts. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. So hopefully this satiates your need, and if I can help convince anyone who was on the fence or maybe not knowledgeable enough about the game and is now heard enough to realize it might be worth your time to play, I'll feel pretty good about myself, you know? So I just want you to, you know, stop, calm down, take a step back when it comes to Federation Force. Take a look at what's happening in the community. Do you want to listen to people who are talking extremely bad about this game, making fun of it, talking shit about it, telling you it's the worst game ever, the worst investment? Do you want to listen to that opinion from someone who hasn't played this game, who isn't giving it a well-deserved shot to at least form an opinion based on actual hands-on experience with the game? Or do you want to listen to someone who's actually played the game, went in with nerves and trepidation, and came out the other side surprisingly enjoying the game? And even if I had told you by chance that I didn't like the game, at least you'd be hearing an opinion from someone who actually has played the game. I feel like that's the only true way to pay attention to someone's opinion, and it's the only true way to honestly share your opinion. You know, you can say you don't like this movie's dumb, this game is dumb, this book is dumb, but if you haven't seen it, played it, or read it, why are you talking about it? And more importantly, why would anyone listen to you? So I say that you should only listen to people when it comes to Federation Force. This holds true for anything really, but specifically on Federation Force, just listen to people who've played it. Whether they're good opinions, whether they're bad opinions, whether you agree with them or disagree with them. If you want to consider what people are saying about this game, Only listen to people who've played it. And that's why reviews matter. Even the reviews that are very low, at least those are people who played this game probably from beginning to end, and they're giving their true, honest feelings. And that's all you can ask from someone. So don't listen to the people. My advice to you, don't listen to people who haven't touched this goddamn thing. Yes, you see my Stormtrooper holding this up, by the way. Surprise. Don't listen to people who haven't played and touched this game tell you that it's the worst game ever, because they don't know anything about it. They just know what the internet thinks is cool. Thumbs down the video, tell people the game is dumb, but don't you dare play it, because then you'll actually know what you're talking about, and oh my god, you might actually enjoy the game. So anyway, that was a weird little rant that I put on the end of this that probably didn't need to be here. Anyway, these are my thoughts on Federation Force, you guys. Please tell me what you think about this game below. Are you playing it? If so, do you like it or do you not play it? Do you have no intent on playing it? Hearing my thoughts along with maybe some other people online, has it convinced you to give the game a shot? Or are you still pretty much on the fence and saying, no way, Jose, give me my real Metroid, give me my Samus? And I do understand that perspective. Either way, tell me what you think about this stuff below, guys. And tune in a couple of days for my new Q&A. Leave questions for me below. This is Rob of Rule of 2 Review. I will catch you guys next time on another video.